Hello everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing the amazing budget-friendly Samyang 35mm f1.8. It's currently available new for around 45,000 yen or £300, which is one of the best value for money 35mm you can pick up today. In order to keep this review as transparent as possible, all footage and pictures you see are taken using only this lens and the Sony a7C. This is my first ever 35mm prime, and so far I do love it. I've been using it for street, portrait, video and live events too, and it's been performing well in all of these situations. The autofocus isn't as fast or reliable as the Sony lenses I have previously owned, but I do love the charm of this lens and the images it produces. I went on a trip to Kyoto to try and get some footage, so you'll be seeing video and pictures taken there, and also some other events I've been to with this lens. As you can see, so far with all of the footage playing, the lens performs well and provides a good cinematic look. All of the footage is shot at 4K 24 frames per second. There is some noticeable warping while filming, which might be an issue for some people. In my typical use cases, it's not really been a deal breaker for me. I usually shoot portrait or documentary film, so it's not something I am personally too worried about. The autofocus is as reliable as you can expect from a third-party lens. Could it be better? Definitely. It did miss focus on quite a few occasions for me during street, portrait and while taking pictures at a live show. I'm not disappointed, but I'm also not impressed. It's worth noting that they weren't the most ideal conditions to be taking pictures in, with all the bright lights and everything, but it's what I do, it's where I go, and I had hoped for a bit better performance in the autofocus. There is a lot of room for improvement on the autofocus, but I think that's something that will come over time as Samyang develops more lenses for the Sony system. So far, I'm really happy with this lens and the images I've captured using it. It's produced images I like while doing street, portrait and at live shows too. It's sharp in the middle and a little soft in corners, but it's not horrendous by any means. I'll show a few pictures I took with the lens. Overall, the lens is great and feels very light, especially when paired with the a7C, and it's very easy to use for a long day of photography or videography, especially handheld. The lens is weather sealed, but during a hot and humid summer in Japan, the lens did fog up, but it dissipated quickly when I removed the lens to check it out. I was still able to rescue this image using Lightroom, and the image still looks pretty good. It's a perfect lens to travel with because of its size and weight. Overall, I really don't have many complaints for this lens. After using it for 3 months now, I'm really happy with it, and there's not been many times where I'm like, oh, I wish this was a G Master. There have been times where autofocus is missed, but I've still managed to capture quite a lot of good and very usable pictures, which is kind of typical and expected for third-party lenses. And if you're watching this video, odds are you don't have the budget available to go for a G Master lens or a native Sony lens. So with that in mind, I don't think you can really go wrong with this lens or purchasing it as a first 35mm like it was for myself. It's a very good way to get your hands on a 35mm that is sharp, has great character, and it will give you kind of a good idea or indication of whether you do want to then go on and invest in a very high quality 35mm, maybe the Sony G Master 1.4. And once you've used this lens for a while, it's not going to feel like a waste of money, because in the past I've spent a lot of money on G Master lenses and I've never really felt the value from them, especially when you consider the price of a G Master. Whereas this lens, I've never once worried about how much I've spent on it. It's never been a thought, it's never been a worry. This lens has been a very nice, easy and safe purchase because of the price, and again, the quality is great. So those were my thoughts on the Samyang 35mm, and this is also my first time making a review for a lens, and I wanted to try something a little different, as it seems like now all photography YouTubers are using the same style and reviews format also. I want to try and challenge myself to film every review using only the lens being reviewed, and it will likely be more focused on budget-friendly gear, with a focus on hobbyists and enthusiasts like myself. If you like this review style and want to see more, please subscribe and let's talk in the comments. I'm curious to hear what you have to say about this lens and maybe some other lenses you'd like for me to check out. This review isn't the most comprehensive because there are people who do a much better job at that. If you're keen to learn more about this lens, check out Christopher Frost's review. I'll leave a link in the description below. He is my favorite reviewer to watch when I'm considering any of these kind of lenses, because he gives kind of a great all-round overall review of it. But with my review style, what I want to be doing is giving you, as a hobbyist or an enthusiast, a view from kind of this perspective. After I've used it for a few months, I want to come back to you and present it in a way where I can show my thoughts, a few different times I've used it, all of that good stuff. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time soon, hopefully. I will be reviewing the Viltrox 85mm 1.8 next. See you next time. Bye bye.